Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today we will see how to configure IP monitoring in Cluster XL. Well, this feature is going to help us do the failover for redundancy group from node 0 to node 1 and from node 1 to node 0. So before that, I would like to explain about the topology that we have here. So you can see here I have a primary monitor IP as 21 14.1.40.60.21 and secondary IP monitor 222, which is on the same machine, server 1. And I'm going to monitor this from the SRX cluster XL. Let me show you quickly. As you can see here, I have configured 2.2.2 on server 1 on the loopback interface. Well, this IP should be reachable. Now you can see here I have the device access server 1, which is a 40 gate device. For lab purpose, I have made it as my test server. So if you see here, I have two IP address configured on my red 1. Well, if you see, I have my red 1. Let me show you the configuration right now. So my red 1 is in redundancy group 2. Well, this is not properly updated, I would say. Sorry for that. Well, this is red 1, which is in redundancy group 2. And I have my red 0 interface in red group 1. So this is 0. Okay. And let's see the status of the RG group. So you can see here all RG group is active on all node 1. So redundant group 0 is active on node 1, group 1 active on node 1, group 2 active on node 1. And since we have a policy which allows only 20 and 21, let's add this. Let me make node 0 as active. So you can see here, node 0 is active for all the RG group 0, 1, 2. Alright friends, so let's try to ping the secondary IP configured on this server. Okay, interface IP is also pingable. Okay, all three IPs are pingable. Alright friends, let's start the configuration, the IP monitor. So I'm going to do it for the redundant group 2 so that I can, right now, let me check the status. You can see here, node 0 is secondary, node 1 is primary because of the priority. So I'm going to set something. Set chassis cluster redundant group 2 IP monitor. So we have to set the weight, global weight, which is going to be 255, and then this is going to be threshold. So threshold is going to be 220. So whenever any IP is unreachable, the weight associated with that IP monitor gets deducted from the global threshold value. Let's say a IP monitor is configured with the weight 220. So once it is declared unreachable, you're going to deduct that 220 associated with the IP monitor from the global threshold. When it reaches zero, well then perform the failover of RG group. That is what we are trying to achieve here. So this is the retry interval. So how often the device should monitor the IP. So the interval is 5 seconds. It waits for 5 seconds and then restarts the monitor. Then how many times it should retry is this value, which is 5 in my case. And now so I'm going to monitor this IP and I'm going to associate the weight with it as 200. And I'm going to define the interface from which I'm going to monitor this. This is going to be red 1.0, and the secondary IP address from which I'm going to monitor this will be 14.140.60.21, sorry, 20, which is configured on the device itself. Let me just show you. This is a secondary IP of red 1. You can see here this is the IP that is configured on red 1.0, the secondary IP. Like I showed you that I'm able to reach this IP as well. You can see here under IP monitoring for group 2, I'm adding all this value. I'm going to monitor 2.2.2, and if this fails, I'm going to deduct 200 from the given threshold 220. And with this, I should not be able to do the failover because the value of the threshold is not coming to zero. This is for the demonstration purpose. After that, I'll increase the weight associated with 2.2.2 to 220 to show that this is triggering the failover. Now that the configuration is committed, you can see here the IP is reachable and the weight associated with is 200. So I'm going to do something on the device. I'm going to bring down the ping from this interface. So now this IP should not be reachable. Might take some time since I have defined the retry counter to 5 and retry interval to 5 seconds. So it is going to take 25 seconds to declare that IP unreachable. So now it has declared this as unreachable. And now the current threshold is 20, which is not 0. So we are not going to do any failover. I'll just show you. Node 0 is still secondary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase this weight to 220. Okay, first of all, let's make a change here. Let's make it normal and then we will bring it down. It might take some time to commit the configuration. Set requires the configuration check on both the nodes. Okay, let's check the status of the redundancy group 2. So now node 0 is secondary. And let's check the status of monitoring. Okay. So the threshold is 220 and the global threshold is 220. So the current threshold after deducting the value should come to 0 in order to fail over to node 0. So now what we'll do is so this is reachable right now. So I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this configuration, bring down the ping. So now you can see here this is unreachable, weight associated is 220, and now the current threshold is 0. So this should have failed over the, you can see here, it failed over from secondary to primary. So like this way, you can configure multiple IP monitor. Okay, so for demonstration purpose, I'm going to set this thing to 200 one more time, and I'm going to use one more IP monitor. This time I'm going to use 14.140.60.21, and I will associate the weight as 20. So here in my case, both the interface should fail in order for the device to fail over to the node 1 or node 0. If you see here, this individual failure of IP, the ping monitor, will not cause the failure, as and then it is same for 2.2.2, which is having 200, and the threshold here is 220. So individual failure of this IP monitor will not trigger the failover. Both of them should fail, then only it will trigger the failover. So right now I'll show you who is the primary. So node 0 is primary. So I will bring up everything. I'll make it normal. Okay. I'm going to commit the changes so that I have two IP monitors with 220 weights, and I'm going to demonstrate that. Okay, I believe I left one configuration with the source interface and the secondary source IP. First of all, I'll show you the status. So right now primary is node 0, and then since the preempt is not enabled, so it will not fail over back to node 1. And the preempt is enabled on the device on the node with high priority. In my case, node 1, 200. You can see here both are reachable with associated bit 20, 200. So I'm going to bring down this to demonstrate that this will not trigger the failover when there is an individual IP monitor or IP-SLA failure. You can see here 2.2.2 is now unreachable with the threshold as 200. So right now you can see the current threshold as 20, which is not 0. So it is not triggering the failover. So I'll go ahead, I'll quickly disable the ping from the secondary IP configured on that interface. Okay. So right now our node 0 is primary. So this will trigger node 1 to take over at the primary role for the RG group 2. See right now the threshold is 0. So you can see here my IP monitor or IP-SLA both are unreachable, which adds up to 220, and the threshold is 0. Now this triggered the failover. You can see here node 0 became secondary and node 1 became primary. Well guys, so that was all for the IP monitor in Cluster XL. Well, if you have any doubt, any question, just post it in the comment section so that I can give you my understanding about the IP monitoring. And please do subscribe to my channel so that you get the latest update whenever I upload any new video. All right, guys, stay tuned. Please do subscribe to my channel and have a good day. Bye bye.